So they're ahead of that pace. You always love to see that boundary pushed in reverse direction against the grain, perhaps. As talk about pushing the boundary, pushing his way into the lead is a Sean Moore from Marvin Ridge, who emerged as the early leader before the Hungry Bulldogs came along. And here comes Hanover and Stuart Williams. He's putting some real pressure on just past 1,000 meters. And he's into the lead. Stuart Williams, the junior, has got quite a bit of shorter range as well. He set a 500-meter PR to open his season in December 17th of 1:11.54. So we can hold on to a sub 60 per lap pace as far as 400 meters are concerned for more than a lap. But as Sean Moore wanted that lead right back and took it for himself. Moore's got some range as well on the longer end, having run a 9:31.33 200-meter personal best to open his season, in addition to having raw 1:59 outdoor 800-meter abilities. His all-purpose PR in the mile is a 4:28.25. Anything below 4:30 would be impressive given all the work he's done to maintain his position. But let's not forget about the Bullis School. Ryan Walensky, the sophomore, leads the chase group up the back straightaway, having retaken second from Stuart Williams of Hanover. A quick glance, miniature glance in the left shoulder. But is Sean Moore showing panic only on his face, not so in his form, keeping it nice and steady through in a big indoor best, right near his lifetime best. He'll go 4:28 for the Heat 7 win. 4:28.66 for Sean Moore. Just 41/100ths out of his lifetime outdoor best. There looked to have been a double command. It was on your mark, and then I heard a set. In fact, that may have been a stand-up. Either way, they're going to reset this heat, section 8 of 22 in the boys' 1,600 meters. Green card for the field, giving them full assurance that they're all in the right. And the gun for heat number 8. Clean first bend. That's what we like to see in this field of 20-plus runners here at the Virginia Showcase, passing all the state flags, some national flags, the most notable being the Jamaican flag towards the top of the backstretch, as we've got a truly international competition on our hands today, tomorrow, and Sun. Landon Patterson from Holly Springs. Roaring hip number 8 for the Hawks is out early over Jace Gorley from Atlee. Again, I cannot confirm nor deny whether or not he is related to British Olympic superstar Neil Gorley, who thrives over these same distances. Hip number 7, we've got a Holly Springs Hawks 1-2 as Seth Truitt moves up to take second. We got a powerful move coming though from Jamestown, Elliot Brule. In fact, this could be Paul Vogel, his teammate. The two Jamestown boys following each other on the outside of the Holly Springs Hawks. We got some team tactics going in this race. Love it. It's now a Holly Springs 1-3 and now a 1-4 as the 2-3 looks to be with Jamestown potentially. In fact, we've got Kellum in this mix as well as Striker Balk moves in to the number 2 spot, being pressured on his outside by Jace Gorley, who was previously in that position, wants to get back after having been swallowed up and ousted to the exterior. He's running in lane 2 in that blue kit, but now moving into the lead in the black kit. That's Kellum. That's Striker Balk. The sophomore with an indoor best of 440, 155 over the 1600. Look at this pace, 221. So he's not far off of his PR pace right now. Outdoors, we've seen him get down to 429, so we got to think with that in Striker Balk's wheelhouse that he's got a good kick saved up as he shuts down the move being made on his outside. Very mature abilities right there to hold on to that lead. From hip number 23, Mark Gatos of West Springfield. Oh man, a little bit of hand fighting between the left and right arms of Gorley and Gatos. They're jostling for that second spot. Again, Gorley, he had not found himself on the inside rail since the early portions of the race. He takes it back in the form of taking the lead, but only for a moment. Back into the advantage. Now for the first time in his course around, that's Matthew Wexler of Apex Friendship. He'll have the lead into the final 400 meters at around 3:30 through 1200. The Patriots of Apex Friendship currently holding on to the lead. Jace Gorley from Atlee has been ever persistent, and he is back in the front in the royal blue. But here in the navy blue comes Seth Truitt, who was in second at the first 400 and now in the final 200 is in first for the first time. Seth Truitt, the senior from Holly Springs, trying to get away from this loaded field as they head down the back straightaway. We've got some sprinters coming. Truitt trying to prove that he's one of them, giving it absolutely everything he's got left, going to the arms. Here comes Ayush Patel of Battlefield, though. Look over the shoulder for Truitt. He accelerates once again to the line for the win. Boy, that was intense in the final stretches. 4:35.58, a massively negative split race. And Patel as well, 46:02, 4 minutes 36 seconds for the sophomore from Battlefield. So heat number 9 is on the track next. A group of 7 on the outside and a number of others on the inside. Off we go. 8 laps around the track per usual. A little bit relaxed on the start this time around. We had a tactical kicker race take form in section 8. How about heat number 9? David Eaton of Fork Union, flanking Nicholas Fors of Holly Springs, looking to make it back-to-back heat wins for the Hawks on the inside. He slots through 30 and change for that first 200. Keeping a nice, confident, upright stride. Really powerful down the back straightaway. Acute arm angles, not expending too much upper body energy, saving that for the latter half. Now, this pace that he's making, let's consider that. Very aggressive indeed. Though his form has not yet broken, he's certainly setting his stall out. Through that quarter split, he goes, having established a 15-meter gap on the field. This is all about Nicholas Fors from Holly Springs. Let's have a look at what he's done through his junior year. He's competed at cross-country states multiple times. And as for what he's done on the track, 4:43 over the 1,600-mile distance. Look at him secure his first ever sub 4:40. He's definitely starting to tire. You see the shoulders loosening up a little bit. But he's still trying to keep his face in line. There's Alex Gray from Riverside, receiving some massive applause from the crowd. Our early joint leader, David Eaton from Fork Union, still in the top 3 there, off of screen. Coming around, we're going to take our next split, should be 3 laps remaining. We're getting a 1-2 battle brewing here. Nicholas Fors, the junior from Holly Springs, North Carolina. Oh, a near trip on the rail. That was dangerous for Alex Gray from Riverside. He comes from the 4A school out of Durham, home of the Duke Blue Devils. And he nearly took a tumble there. Lucky to still be on his feet. But his focus has certainly sharpened. He has pinpointed Fors like a bullseye and has worked his way right up to him with 2 laps to go. Now the question is, could he be too patient perhaps? Could he have made his move a little bit earlier when he was closer? It looks as though Nicholas Fors is trying to respond to the constant pressure being applied, unless that was the plan all along. And if it was by Alex Gray, then that's an awfully mature move. But again, being too patient, look at number 18. There's Owen Bauer of Battlefield, but there's the window on the inside. Too patient? Not so, says Alex Gray, our new leader. He waited for just the right moment to seize the lead on the inside, but he's left it up to a chase, which is what Owen Bauer wants. The junior from Battlefield giving one final push to the junior from Riverside. The Durham native, Alex Gray, trying to hold off the Virginian. Owen Bauer in the final straightaway. It's Alex Gray. A nice little double kick ahead for the win. Having to respond to 2 competitors at various points in the last lap. Alex Gray, despite nearly falling to his face, just less than 600 meters out, he ends up coming away the fastest of them all in heat number 9 of the boys 1600. It looked like some members of the back line were not initially ready, which is why they were called to a stand-up. But on the second go, they have readied them all up. This is heat number 10. The boys' 55-meter unseated heats are on track on the infield. Again, happening simultaneously. In contrast to the previous series of prelims that we've seen, this time around it's the unseated boys going first. Cody Lowry of Tab takes over the lead at 200 meters. Tab coming over from Yorktown, again just outside of the DC metro area. Closest we've got to him is Baden Geary of Herndon. And then number 19 running in third. A good early display by Mason Larman of Atlee. Atlee with that recognizable block letter format and font on the rear of their vests. And then we've got Potomac running in fourth. That's Eli Levine with the P on the front. It's been all Cody Lowry from Tab on the inside. From hip number 1, he has led for the first 3 laps. We're going to see what he'll achieve through his 800-meter split. As he leads the field, perhaps not for much longer. Can he hold on to that inside rail? Mason Larman of Atlee, who was previously in third, is now up in second. That's pretty quick, around 2:07 through 800. If I saw that correct, 2:07 through 800. Very quick early pace being set. Challenging on the outside once again, just like he did last lap, Mason Larman, a senior from Atlee, the team that won the 4x8 state title last year. Finds itself in the lead on the final 600. Back straight away, building that lead. Mason Larman. Let's examine some of what we've seen from him. He opened his season with a nice 4:45 personal best in the 1600. That was his fastest over the distance all-purpose. And he could be looking to break that indeed. But look out for Akai Onat from McLean. He's moving right up there in second in the red. Just keeping that constant pressure on the shoulder. That's just what we saw in the previous section, and it ended up working out for our eventual heat winner, Alex Gray. But it paid the same similar dividends for a man from McLean. Akai Onat, the junior, Another 4:45 indoor miler at his best and outdoors. But here comes Eli Levine of Potomac School. He's hung around in that top group the whole race long and is going to look to keep his position or increase it. He's in second, trying to exhale with every bit of energy he's got left. But Akai Onat stays relaxed, holds his form, leans at the line for the Heat 10 victory. So 12 heats to go in our 1,600 meter series for the boys. That'll conclude infield action for a moment. Oval action that be. As heat 11 gets underway. Our time to beat still Bryce Cook's 4:19.46 from the first section. An incredible showing in that sprint finish that we saw to kick off our 1600s. In this section, we've got wearing hip number 5, Josh Lawrence of the Covenant School, going out hard over Elias Dean of West Springfield at White Top in second. In fact, he's been shuffled into third upon the cut-in. Lap 2 of 8 now, going down the backstretch. Right there is Colin Rivers of Oakton wearing hip number 4. And then one behind that top 3. That is Lawrence, Rivers, and Dean. That's Duncan McRory of Cuthbertson. You see he's got Cavaliers on the back. The Carolina Cavaliers, what Cuthbertson calls itself. Once we reach Nationals time, but right now representing their high school by name and doing so on his own behalf very nicely is Isaiah Watts of Kings Mountain with the KM in the dark green there. He's through 600 meters. Coming over from the nearby Charlotte metro area from North Carolina. Kings Mountain, known as the Mountaineers. And will lead through 800 meters. Isaiah Watts, the junior, make that the senior. Colin Rivers, the sophomore from Oakton's in second. That was around a 2:17 split through the halfway mark. Looking at Isaiah Watts' progression through the years, he's dropped his mile time all the way to a 4:38 and even a 4:36 outdoor personal best. So he was right on pace for his PB, if not something quicker. Yeah, 2:17, that's around a 4:34 come to finish. So we'll see if he can keep this going through a K at around 2:53, 2:54, followed by our new number 2 runner, Bryce Phillips of Ocean Lakes. His fellow senior in the class of 2025. Isaiah Watts, who made that move into the front just prior to 600 meters, takes a glance over his left shoulder to see the field has reeled him in. Bryce Phillips from Ocean Lakes leading the next 2. We've got Wyatt Simones of Christiansburg making making 2 passes into the final 2 laps. A brave and bold move indeed. And then it's the Cougar from Oakton, Colin Rivers, in 4th. Those 4 just about the only 4 in contention for the lead right now, but we've got a big move coming from the rear. That is Elias Dean of West Springfield, whom we had noted was in 3rd place at one point in this race. You're going to see him come into frame with the white spikes just having popped in and out of your view. It's all up to Christiansburg. Wyatt Simones, the sophomore, to get the lead and hold on to it through to the finish. But here's Elias Dean, the aforementioned kicker from West Springfield. His fellow sophomore, the class of 2027, putting on a bit of a show here at the BA Showcase. Coming around the final turn, Elias Dean with the patience will take the lead in the final stretch. Another great rally from Oakton, but Dean with West Springfield leans with authority, wins with style. 4:39.17. And then Colin Rivers for Oakton got up for 2nd in 4:40. Section number 12 is underway in the boys' 1,600 meters. Allow me to give another shout out to members of our Mile Split social team, in particular the Mile Split Carolinas crew, as they have really enhanced cross country and track and field coverage in North and South Carolina. And they uploaded a little post-race interview clip with our current time leader in the unseated boys 1,600 meters, that being Bryce Cook, the new 4:19 miler, as just a sophomore. They just posted a clip of that on their Instagram at MileSplit Carolinas. If you'd like to find that clip and hear what Bryce had to say about his run, go ahead and pull out your smartphone, tablet, whatever device you like to access the gram with, and find Bryce's clip on MileSplit Carolinas. We've also got our MileSplit national team, as well as the Virginia Showcase. They launched their own social media page this winter. Really went all in with the promotion of the 2025 BA Showcase. And the races thus far have not disappointed at all. Don't forget about our FloTrack social content team as well. We've got both sites going full force for your enjoyment in eternity. Keisler Fechner of Kettle Run with the big paw on the front of his kit, leading through 600 meters, followed by McLean's Colin Park. It's these two with about a 3 to 4 meter gap on the next closest competitor, so quickly forming into a 1 and 2 battle with every stride that they put on the field. Now about 10 meters ahead, just like that. In 50 meters time, these two doubled their gap on the field. They're here to race with each other, and they're here to push the time. Park for McLean in the red with the big M on his vest, trying to settle into that pace that is currently 2:16 through 800. We got some Bishop McNamara in this heat. Jaden Smith running in the number 4 position right now. Running 1 and 2 though, Keisler Fechner, junior, looking to hold off the senior from McLean, Colin Park. There's 1,000 right around 252, 253. Fechner, as far as what he's done, he's broken 240 in the 1,000, so going out in 252 definitely within his comfort zone, but looking to push that boundary over 600 more meters, not easy to do. 4:44.85 as quickly as we've seen him navigate a 1,600 meter trip. Colin Park of McLean, what about him? He's gone a little bit quicker this indoor season at 4:43.05 for his personal best. So these guys right there with each other for the Cougars and the Highlanders. The Cougars from Kettle Run and the Highlanders from McLean. Kettle Run from Nokesville, Virginia. A bit nearby the DC area, I suppose. Let's not forget about the rest of the field, though, as they take the bell at around 4:07. We have got Gavin Tompkins of Southern, who has been lurking ever so steadily, and he's moved up to challenge Park. Into second he goes with only Fechner in front of him. Keisler Fechner feeling the sense of urgency as he puts his foot down, increases his turnover, trying to keep that lead into the bend. Ian Fisher of Northwood is in second, but will not catch Keisler Enkner. Keisler Fechner, your heat winner in 4:39.43 over Ian Fisher of Northwood, the freshman, confirmed upon further review of Gavin Tompkins in the pack. Fisher emerged from the pack and nearly captured the dub. Very impressive close indeed. Nearly got below 4:40 as well. So just 10 heats remaining in the boys' 1,600 meters for the unseeded groups. This is heat number 13 getting on the track. And underway at the sound of the gun. One interesting thing that our starters are doing with these heats is that even if there are athletes with lower hip numbers, they will alternate them as to which waterfall they're placed in. Matt Montgomery from Centerville wore hip number 3. You saw him, and you still see him, in fact, in that light blue there. He took the early lead, but came from the outside waterfall. Sometimes you'll see them just plop the lower numbers in the inside, whereas the higher numbers will draw the exterior. Not so the case today. This is David Hiss of Jefferson Forest wearing the red kit with the JF on the front, followed by Holly Springs' Wyatt Odom in second through 400 meters. These two a good deal of distance ahead, trying to keep pushing each other further along as their heart rate steadily rises and lactic acid steadily builds. David Hiss, the junior from Forest, is going to come up to 800 meters. Not too bad of a pace here. Again, a 2:16. That's been a pretty common halfway metric that we've seen. Now let's see what it would take for him to come through with a personal best. David Hiss in his season opener fresh off of an outdoor campaign in which he dropped his 800-meter time to a 2:01.59, so getting close to that sub-2. Now trying to get potentially close to a sub-4:30 as he went 4:35.54 for his fastest clocking in the outdoor season. What about our number 1 runner, Wyatt Odom from Holly Springs? We've seen some of his teammates go quickly. And he's holding down second right now. Looking to chase down his own PR. Which in fact I do not even see on record, so as far as that goes, Wyatt might as well have an automatic chance at a PR. In fact, we've located Wyatt's personal best. It's a 4:50.26. And he's really going after it as he takes the lead. Wyatt Odom, the junior from Holly Springs, into the lead. He will take the bell. Well ahead of PR pace and well ahead of this field. It was all about David Hiss from Jefferson Forest in the first 3 quarters of this race. The first 1,300 meters, in fact, but the final 3 belong all to Wyatt Odom from Holly Springs. The Hawk spreading his wings. It looked like he might have nearly tripped there on the far side. He's trying to keep his focus, every aspect of his running dialed in, and now he lets loose down the stretch through in 4:38. How about that in a tight battle for second? Not just his first sub 450, but his first sub 440 as well. 4:38.72 for Odom. And then Cluley. First time we've called his name all race. Gavin Cluley from Leesville Road, the freshman, gets up for second in 4:43.89. It did not look like we had a fall, but on the outside, in heat number 14, Carter Williams of Loudoun County, looked like it was him who had a bit of a shuffle towards the rail there. And by the rail, I mean the outside rail, not the inside rail. That fence line that you see atop the oval turn. That's where he ended up being shuffled into. So they'll allow the heat to go again. Away successfully on take number 2 is heat number 14 of 22 in the boys' 1,600-meter run of field. That includes a total of 27 milers. 27. Wow. And I will be the last to call taking a hit on the opening go advantageous. But just look at who's in the lead. Carter Williams of Loudoun County, who did just that. He was completely unfazed by the early obstruction and now finds himself comfortably on the front position through 465 mid. Right behind him is Lucas Chang of Ardrey Kell. It's the captains and the Knights being represented in fine style as they head down the third of 8 back stretches. Just counting and clicking away those laps. Again, those first 2 were averaging in the 32s, 65 for 400 meters. That's 420 mile pace, which only our top 2 in this unseeded series have done thus far. Brady Border of Apex holding up the chase group, followed by Sam Kiefer of Deep Run. There's 142 through 600 meters, so it's typically around the third lap once you know they've hit the middle portion of the race. I think that opens the door to another conversation about mid-distance running, because a lot of people have debates as to which category the 600 meters falls under, whether it be a sprint or a mid-distance. Just look at a mile. That's when you'll really start to see the pace deteriorate once they get into the middle stages of the race. Of course, adding fuel to the mid-distance school of thought. Brady Border of Apex, whom I had previously mentioned is leading the chase group, is now effectively linked together, the top 2 with the rest of the field, wearing that bright yellow kit with the maroon shorts in third. Gave a little bit of a gentle nudge to Lucas Chang in the blue of Ardrey Kell in front of him. And now he finds himself sandwiched in between runners. We've got a lot of eagerness playing out in the form of aggressive moves by Hatcher Smith of Sharonda, who moves on the outside 3 wide. Smart running by Carter Williams of Loudoun County, though. Running between lanes 1 and 2 on the straightaway, preventing passes just narrowly on both inside and out. Keeping his elbows nice and wide as well. Now is where you're going to want to make your move if you're Hatcher Smith, trying to answer the call in the final 500 meters. Still cannot get around, though. Carter Williams of Loudoun County also in the mix. We've got our hip 25 and 26 runners. First 26, Tarun Duraipandi, and then Juan Murias of James River. Duraipandi of Lake Norman now in the number 5 spot, coming up to challenge Williams, our early leader, who's now finally been swallowed up by the pack. As much work as he made them do, they made him do a lot of work to defend his position. That's why he's now slipped back into 6th, but still in contention. It's Brady Border of Apex, but now Hatcher Smith, the taller figure, asserts himself into the lead firmly at the bell at 4:13, roughly flat. Less than 200 meters to go. With that fluid arm motion, not exactly pumping his arms visually, relying more on that core strength. Distance runners doing a lot of that core work throughout the weeks, in addition to the mileage. Can it pay off for Hatcher Smith in the home straightaway? He's going to have a 3-man challenge, and Brady Border quickly takes back the lead to win. Bringing right along through with him in second was the man from Lake Norman, Tarun Duraipandi. In fact, that was Juan Murias of James River, who ended up rallying for second. So again, a huge finishing train. Everybody riding that momentum that they feel once they realize the finish line is within striking distance. That's when you start to feel the legs lighten up, despite the fact that you're consumed by lactic, despite the fact that your entire body is on fire. For those of you wanting to know what's happening on the infield, again, the unseeded boys 55-meter prelims are happening in conjunction with now our 15th of 22 sections of the boys 1600. Currently on track is this massive field of distance runners. And on the inside, I believe they just finished heat number 51. how many total heats we've got. We've got 72, so still several to go before we'll begin to open our eyes for the fastest seeded preliminaries of the boys 55. Again, looking to send the top 8 athletes to the final tomorrow. As for the girls 55 qualifiers to the 60-meter final tomorrow, we'll have to take a look at what's happened there as well. We saw some 6.8s and change by a few runners there. Lisa Ray with a 681 personal best to get the win in the prelims. She'll be joined in the finals by Celeste Robinson of Cypress Ranch from Houston, Peyton Payne of Bullis School, Mia Mason of South County, who qualified for both the hurdles and the flat dash, Elise Cooper of McDonough, Jasmine Cook of Archbishop Carroll, Maya Love of Independence, and then Laura Fiegel of Heritage Christian. Those are the 8 that you will have to look forward to in tomorrow's window of invitational finals. But back to our first 600, we have got a very clear 1-2-3 battle, having broken away and making it clear that they are content to stay in this array. Our now leader is Parker Wooten of Cosby, followed very closely by Carter Barnes of Deep Run through 800 meters at around 2:18. And then our early leader, Peter Fleener of Bishop O'Connell, running in the white kit in 3rd. We'd like to say hello to all of our live audience members who have been tuning in from the start of our program, and even on Facebook and YouTube Live for our Friday preview of the VA Showcase Day 1 of 3. We hope you'll stick with us as we grow closer and closer now, within 2 hours of the invitational window. A whole lot of exciting races here in the boys' 1,600-meter run. Currently being led in an ultimate lap by hip number 8. Parker Wooten, the sophomore from Cosby. Now the first time we're mentioning him all race in that bright purple is Gavin West of York. He's pulled within about 5 meters. But you gotta think Wooten can hear his footsteps. I need a pair of ears like his if you can hear footsteps in an arena this loud. Parker Wooten responding to the pressure and pulling away with every stride. Rounding the final bend is the sophomore from Cosby. Looking to secure the win, and he will. Right around 4:39, 4:40. Officially a 4:40.17. And that, my friends, is a lifetime best by 0.16. 4:40.33 was what he ran outdoors last year, and he just beat that in his first race indoors over the distance. He could be very well looking at a 4:30 by the time he gets to season's end, if not quicker. Again, you'll see a lot of growth, not just physically from freshman to sophomore year, but mentally as well when you're a distance runner, knowing how to respond like we saw Wooten just do when he was nearly overtaken in that last 200-meter split. Look at this massive field of boys in the 16th heat of 1,600 meters. We are now, again, at 27 per section. That's the way we've been rolling for the last 3 heats now. So it's not very easy to stand out when you got that many guys surrounding you from front and behind, but so far, a good run by North Point and Logan Wattsmouth with an arrow lead over Henry McCarthy of Woodbridge, and moving up on the outside with the Cardinal kit is mentors Aiden Shields. Looks like we got 2 mentor guys. Stephen Mitch as well there with hip number 12 in the black with the red Cardinal on the front. Some other guys trying to move up from the outside. There's Cole Lueck with the R for Riverside. It is mentor, it is Riverside, it is North Point. They head down the back straightaway. They're going to come up to 800 meters on the split momentarily. This is 700 for those looking to keep exact tabs. These mentor boys, they really want to be in the position where they are right now. You can tell with that aggressive move Stephen Mitch just made. And now it looks like they're going to do a little bit of trading of the lead. Mitch goes to the front, and now following him is Shields. They are side by side through 800 around 226. So halfway through, just below that 4:55 pace at 4:52 if they even split it. And again, forming this wall can really make it tough for the rest of the field to get around them. If they can maintain their spots on the straightaways, that'll force other runners to try and pass out of lane number 2 or 3 on the turns. Jacob Pugh of Enloe is there in 3rd, as they're in the final 3 laps. That latest trip around was a 38-second clocking. Don't forget about our man who was previously in 2nd towards the beginning stages, Henry McCarthy of Woodbridge. You saw him in that Vikings kit on the near turn just a few seconds ago. He looks like he's got a little bit of something saved up. We'll just have to see how much. He's now forming a single file. 1, 2, 3 are Mitch, Shields, and Pugh coming up to the final 400 meters. 341 high is Pugh. Now breaks up the Cardinal 1-2 into a 1-3 for the boys from Mentor. Coming over from the Buckeye State of Ohio to challenge the Virginians here. And now into the lead goes the man from Enloe, another outsider, if you will, coming over from the North Carolina state capital of Raleigh. Neck and neck at the bell. Stephen Mitch on the inside, and on the outside, here comes his teammate, the early leader taking it back. The pole position once again sits with the senior Aiden Shields from Mentor, Ohio. He and his teammate Stephen Mitch back in the 1-2, but Mitch has no longer control of second. It is instead Johnny Stevens of Lake Braddock with a ferocious charge, making contact in the home straightaway, lifting his arms at the line in celebration. 4:51.96. What a crazy close that was, as he just came from nowhere. .451. Again, they went out in a 2:26, so negative splitting the race. Perhaps what we expected, just knowing how many guys were still together at the halfway point. But my, oh my, Johnny Stevens, the sophomore from Lake Braddock, he had to defend his state's home turf here in Virginia. And he certainly accomplished that goal. Whether or not it was one he was considering is, of course, he's not the only Virginian in this field. Imagine that. Sometime down the line, perhaps, we get a state versus state race, whether or not it takes the form of a relay or just a massive unseeded heat in a bit greater formality like this. This is heat number 17 of 22 in the boys 1,600 meters for the unseeded sections. Rolling right along with some phenomenal races. That last one of the most dramatic that we've seen yet. Running very nicely to start off. You got an early leader. Running for the Bengals with hip number 7 from Greensboro Day School, that's Hudson Sharp. His last name does have an E on the end, but I'd say he doesn't need that E if you would like to describe how he looks out there with an adjective. Hudson Sharp, look at Sharp through 400 meters in my, oh my, 61 seconds. That's faster than they took it out in the fastest seeded heat. You got to get a radar on this kid out here. Hudson Sharp from Greensboro Day School has gone quicker through 500 meters, we know that much. 1:14.68, back just over a month ago at the Liberty Flames High School Invitational. He even ran a 1,000-meter PR there of 2:44.15 and a 1,600-meter PR at the JDL Run Fast Invitational of 4:53.23. Outdoors, he's gone a little bit quicker at 4:36.09 for the 1,600, and has even placed just outside of the top 10 in Division II for his independent school state championships. Greensboro Day School, an independent school in North Carolina, so part of that particular federation for the state meet. But of course, they've got various divisions like they do for the public schools. So Division II, still an opportunity to succeed. 2:11, so that second quarter mile was a 70. Nowhere near as fast as the 61, but still the 2:11 with a 4:36 PR. He's on pace for a 14-second improvement on that, down to 4:22 if he can even split it. That's the challenge of distance running, though. Hudson Sharp, if he's shown us anything, it's that he's up for the challenge. Wearing the green kit for Greensboro Day. On a beautiful, sunny, chilly day here in Virginia Beach. Coming over from the Tar Heels State at a 2:49. Again, I mentioned his 1,000-meter PR that he set just over a month ago of 2:44.15. He was within 5 seconds of that, still with 3 laps to run. Incredible bravery that we were witnessing here, and we're going to have to really examine some of the top freshman marks over the 1,600 meters around the country. Our top 1,600 meter time among members of the class of 2028 is Charlie Hollingsworth of Alabama's 4:22.83. With 400 meters to go, that looks to be just a tad out of reach at 3:28 through 1200. And if we got a sub-68 closer in us, and a PR all-purpose is in the near future for Hudson Sharp. If he were to replicate his lifetime best of 4:36.09 from back in the outdoor season here on this indoor trip, he would still take the place of the 19th fastest freshman in the country. Whatever he does here, it's been impressive through 1400, and it's all up to this final 200 for Hudson Sharp of Greensboro Day. We got a two-way battle for second, now shifting in favor of Malachi Walsh of Fort Union. That battle brewing off a screen, though. We got a potential for a sub 440. It'll be tough. But Hudson Sharp is tough as nails. Strides down the final stretch for his Heat 17 win in a huge indoor best by 12 seconds, 4:41, within 5 of his lifetime best. 4:41.41, and as far as national freshman rankings go, he is number 27 nationwide, and he did that out of the 17th heat. My, oh my, what massive potential this kid has. As not only did he go out with a 12-second indoor PR, but he went into this race at a 61-second opening 400. Just think about that. This is a guy that I would reckon wants to be running that pace for a full mile one day. Hudson Sharp setting it off strong here. With just 5 heats to go before we turn things up a notch. Our seeded 55 prelims should be getting underway as well soon as they gather heat number 18 onto the track for the boys 1600. Heat number 18 is on the track now with the boys 1600. They are all trying to figure out what pace they want to run, what position they want to assume. Our man with hip number 1 wants to live up to the number stuck on his left chest plate, that being Logan Greer of Smithfield. I think he is also trying to take a little page out of the book of Hudson Sharp that we saw in the previous heat, as he's gone out all on his lonesome for the Packers of Smithfield. Maybe trying to avenge what happened to the Green Bay Packers, or perhaps showcase a little bit of his strength in the form of his distance chops. Might not be the same strength that they were looking for to bolster their offensive line, which suffered several injuries in their playoff game with the Philadelphia Eagles last week, but the Smithfield Packers, nonetheless, they're all about running, as they're showing us here today. Logan Greer, although unlike what we saw from Hudson Sharp, he's not exactly pulling away at this stage of the race. He's more so maintaining around a 10-meter gap over the field. Sharp was just simply in another universe. Jason Sykes there from Manor in second, followed by the green kit from Hayden Palmer and Carey. And moving on the outside in hip number 14 is William Cousins of Corinth Holders in fifth, just behind Fort Union's Nicholas Coleman, who is in fourth. That's your top 5. As they're now starting to form a group of 5, they'll Be at 800 meters by the time they reach the start-finish line next. As Jackson Sykes, correction, has taken over the lead, rocking the specs in the dark kit with all those creative, colorful patterns. Greer says, I want this lead back, as he gets back on the inside rail. Nick Coleman matches his move from Fork Union. If you saw on that near turn, they were fixing the mats, as we are not going to have our seated 55-meter prelims for another hour on schedule. Those are going to begin at 4 o'clock with the final 6 groups of runners to go on the infield straightaway to qualify for the finals. Through 1,000 meters at around 3:04 high goes Nicholas Coleman, the junior from Fork Union. Right behind him is James Fisher from George C. Marshall in the light blue. James looks really reserved here. It almost looks like he's being pulled along on a string. The difference is that he's the puppeteer. And the difference is that First Colonial, unlike George C. Marshall, has those nice bright yellow letters on the front to remind us just who they are. Fisher from Marshall is not in the number 2 spot. This is Gage Carlsward running in second behind Nicholas Coleman, who made that big move to the front just after 800 meters, having followed the early leader Logan Greer to the position where he currently lies with less than 300 meters to go. Look out though. William Cousins from Corinth Holders looks to be making a surge, and yes, sir, he is. He did a lot of work to get into the position in which he currently stands. Can he catch up to Carlsward on the last lap? The junior from First Colonial trying to hold off the sophomore from Corinth Holders and 3 others that hit the back straightaway to the sound of the crowd. A look over right shoulder for Gage Carlsward. Here comes Cousins. William Cousins from Corinth Holders up alongside the challenge. It's going to be a tight fight to the line. Cousins in 4:54.08 gets it by 0.02 of a second. Gage Carlsward held the inside line. Cousins went all the way out to 3, almost opened the door for Hayden Palmer of Cary as well, who ended up finishing in that top 3 in 4:54.29. Look at that. All 3 runners in that top trio finished within 0.2 and change of one another. That's a tight race. Our latest section of the boys 1,600 meters is off and running. This is heat number 19 of 22 on the track. Day 1 of the VA Showcase, Virginia Beach Sports Center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Live on FloTrack and Mile Split. Carson Gambaro with you atop our broadcast area, flanked by great members of our production crew led by Matt Doyle and company. Our camera operators, all of our technicians behind the scenes at Flow Sports deserve all of our gratitude for helping make this broadcast possible, because without them we would not be able to witness together such thrilling and volatile races like these 1,600 meters. We nearly had some contact on that near turn there. Going for the lead now looks to be Diego Munoz Torres from Tab with hip number 3 in the orange. Behind him is Ryan Wickham of Colonial Forge. We got a few of the Forge boys in this. Again, a lot of guys really appearing desperate and urgent to get into more optimal positions. As Matt Nguyen does so by taking the lead, he slipped out from the inside of the track on the straightaway to take the lead in the near side of the turn. In third place in a battle with our second Forge runner, Ryan Wickham, is hip number 6 from Ocean Lakes, Van Helgren. But I'll tell you, Matt Nguyen, he's not in the mood for any battles whatsoever. All he's in the mood for is chasing after a personal best. If he wants to achieve his personal best, Matt Nguyen would need to go inside of his indoor best of 5:11:30 or his outdoor best of 5:09:80. His 800-meter split could be very telling as to what he's capable of. He's going to be below 5-minute pace once he crosses the start-finish line in 2:23 high. He is over 20 seconds ahead of pace right now as far as finishing times go. But look out for Torres from Tabor. From Tab, that is, Diego Munoz Torres. And also Van Helgren of Ocean Lakes, who was previously battling for 4th. He has now taken over the number 2 position. Being followed around the outside towards the 1,000-meter mark by hip number 27, his teammate from Ocean Lakes, Joshua Lydell. Through 1,000 meters, we got a group of 4 now, 3:05. And then on an island in 5th place is Carson Hawk of Holly Springs in that purple kit that you see with the golden strips. But look at this move. Making up 2 quick passes, then backing off the accelerator, almost playing some cat and mouse. My goodness, we just had 3 position changes within a 50-meter span. This is our other runner, Lydell from Ocean Lakes. From right up the road in Virginia Beach. They are now running 1 and 2 in their home territory, and they have really started to spread this race out a little bit. In heat number 19 of the boys, 1,600. In fact, heat number 20. That's Will Richardson of Ocean Lakes. It's been adjusted. No, it is Joshua Lydell. We were correct on previous assumption. Just so happens to be that hip number 27 is destined for the Ocean Lakes boys. As they come through to the finish line, 5 minutes flat for the win by Joshua Lydell. 5 flat, 55. Taking second there. It was a tight battle. You can see all the results populating in thanks to our live results team at Blue Ridge Timing. We're not exactly in the Blue Ridge mountain range, but that doesn't mean that they can't do what they do best and what they're going to continue to do into the final 2 sections of this 1,600-meter run. Once we conclude, we'll expect to return for the 55-meter seated prelims as we get underway with this field of 28 plus 2. That is 30. We've got our first 30 burger on the track right now on schedule. Whether or not 30 are ultimately out there, still, the meet organizers, led by Mile Split Virginia, aka MileStats state editor Nolan Jez Hammer, a meet founder of the Virginia Showcase, both indoors and in cross country, has done a number on this invitational in its now 9-year history, and doing a number on this 21st of 22 heats from Glen Allen is Cullen Healy, taking it out through the opening lap in front. So just beyond 400 meters. We got a 3-way battle now through 5. Although really, this race is still wide open. There's a lot to give and determine here, and that's likely not going to come to fruition until the back half. In second place, now moving up to take the lead in the bright blue with hip number 19 is Avery Roberson of Northside. In fact, heat number 20, this is First Colonial's Adam Smager. So we've got 3 heats left. If you're a particular fan of miling, do not fret. We've got a little bit more time than previously anticipated to enjoy together, and perhaps we could be in for another special display by Ocean Lakes, as we nearly had a sub-5 by Josh Lydell in heat number 19, and now leading towards the 800-meter mark in heat number 20 with hit number 15 is Brady Cerula. Ocean Lakes on its home turf. For those of our Virginia Beach hometown audience members who were unable to make the trip to the Sports Center today, we appreciate you for tuning in with us to watch your hometown boys compete from Ocean Lakes and other local schools in the Hampton Roads region in the Mid-Atlantic. But I gotta tell you, First Colonial's runner, Adam Smager, just a freshman, he's been pretty territorial on that inside rail, trying to keep his position at all costs. Luc Veilleux of Green Hope is in third, as they've now formed a quintet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rounding the bend, just past 1,000 meters, so on their third to last lap. Veilleux has the lead now into the final 400. Look out as well for hip number 28. That is Nikhil Shah of Deep Run, mounting a charge on the outside of Smager from First Colonial. Still in fourth though. And I'll tell you, Veilleux from Green Hope has given himself some green daylight back by about 12 meters to the field. Firing on all 21 guns here. Don't know if we got any Green Day fans in the house. Well, we sure better have some Green Hope fans in the house. For Luc Veilleux has taken the bell in heat number 20 of 22 of the boys 1600. Has he gone too early though? Here come the kickers down the back straightaway for the final time, now within 5 meters, now within 4, 3, 2, 1, and into the lead. What a powerful move. There's Ocean Lakes once again. Brady Cerula with the powerful arm action through the line for the win. Destroying the 5-minute barrier in 4:57.20. Nikhil Shah rallied for second, and even Luc Veilleux, though he got third, he still broke 5. Even Smager, top 4, all in the 4-minute range for the 16. Just 2 heats left, and look at the volume. 30 runners once again. A multi-layered start on the inside with just a sextet on the outside. That is 6 runners on the exterior with upwards of 20 on the inside. So if you drew the outside waterfall, consider yourself one of the lucky ones. Unless you like that contact. Unless you're one of those that, as they say these days, wants all of the smoke, the outside waterfall might be more preferable for you. As with hip number 5, our early leader, Jensen Hoffman from Herndon. Should expect to hear some noise from their crowd, as many of them are stationed directly to our right. We are atop one of the many rows of bleachers here at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. A multi-purpose facility that has become the new home of the VA Showcase, also the home this year of the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. And right now, Jensen Hoffman from Herndon has made himself at home on the front. For those of you looking to follow along with other live action on our FloTrack airwaves, you could check out the Jimmy Carnes Invitational taking place down in Gainesville, Florida, home of the Florida Gators. And we just had a pretty epic season opener by Olympian Talitha Diggs, in which the former Florida Gator clocked a 36.77 300-meter facility record at the track that she once called home and effectively calls home for the rest of her life. Once a Gator, always a Gator. What can I say there? But again, all of that is live on FloTrack, as is the VA Showcase here in conjunction with Mile Split. Our social content teams getting all of the up-close and personal insight on the ground. 2:27 our leading split through 800 meters. It's all about Jensen Hoffman. Currently a junior from Herndon. In fact, you could argue he went out a little conservatively in comparison to his PR of 4:50.95, as 2:27's around a 4:54 pace. Again, he's working all out on his own. So we'll see how much further he can push this train along. Perhaps he could beat his outdoor best. 4:56.24 as quickly as he's gone without the climate-controlled facility surrounding him. There are multiple pros and cons when you consider indoor distance running versus outdoor. You may like the elements, you may not. If you don't, you may like having the longer straightaways and gentler turns to work with. But ultimately you're running the same distance and you gotta treat it as such. Jensen Hoffman with 2 laps to go. Before he ran his indoor PR of 4:50.95, let's consider this too. The fastest that he had ever gone indoors was 5:22.04. So if he beats that, then he'll achieve his second fastest indoor career performance to date. He's coming up to the bell. Still not completely out of the hunt for sub 5. He's gonna need a sub 37 last 200 to make it happen. Jensen Hoffman on the final lap for Herndon, Virginia. Into the final back straightaway with 50+ meters on the field. This race is all but his. Now what can he make of it? With 100 meters to go, he's still got a chance for a sub 5-minute clocking. 4:48 on the board at this moment. He's just got to keep on breathing and keep on moving and grooving. Jensen Hoffman. The crowd responds and he's below 5. For only the second time indoors and for only the third time in his life, Jensen Hoffman goes 4:59.29 for his second fastest lifetime indoor 1,600 meters. And he won that by, look at that cushion, 14 seconds nearly full. Incredible. Crowd's only expected to further accumulate as we get deeper into the day here at the VA Showcase. We have appeared to have just about concluded our series of 1600s, although we did have a 20-second section on schedule. It looks like they're holding them for the moment as the meet is running a bit ahead. The final sections of the boys' 55-meter prelims, heats 1 through 6 are scheduled to go next at 4 after our last section of the 1600. We appreciate you all for sticking with us here on FloTrack and Mile Split on day 1 of the Virginia Showcase. Our last heat of milers is approaching the start line in a moment. We will return for that in a minute. Coming back for the last section of the 1600 meters for a little while. We'll get to see some more miles in the 6 o'clock hour for the boys and a little bit earlier for the ladies. But this is it for the guys as far as the unseeded groups go. We've got one final heat of 30 on schedule underway. 8 laps around this oval. with the hydraulic banks on either side. One thing that's so awesome to hear when you're down trackside at any banked oval is just the rumble that you hear when they go around the bank, especially at a track like this. I know, having gotten to cover many meets at the Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex in Staten Island, New York, you can hear that rumble almost 360 degrees around, as the track is slightly elevated off the floor in contrast to the Virginia Beach track, which meets the floor. Same could be said for the New York City Armory, but on track now, trying to absorb it with every step. Again, it's interesting, right? We've seen a lot of great performances through the years at the VA Showcase in distance land, but it's been more so the sprints where we've been under national record watch consistently. And though we may not exactly have that in our minds for the miles today, two very incredible national records. Mary Kane on the girls' side at 4:28, and Hobbs Kessler on the boys' side at 3:57.66. That was a doozy from 2021. Though we may not necessarily be considering those very seriously today at the VA Showcase, we've still got a lot of guys looking to set off season openers in the sub 4:10 land. Some whom have already done so in some capacity or another. 4:10 perhaps could be a long-term goal of our current leader, Zion Jeremiah from Jackson Reed, the freshman from DC. Jackson Reed, a great track and field program out of our nation's capital. They were previously named after President Woodrow Wilson, but now go by Jackson Reed, known as the Tigers, wearing that dark green kit. They were one of the select American teams to have made a little cross-country adventure at the end of their fall season to the great island nation of Bermuda for the Bermuda Cross Country Challenge. So they not only got to take a nice little vacay, but they got to run overseas, essentially. They sent a few of their representatives to go duke it out there, as well as here at the VA Showcase in the 1600 meters. Now on the lead from Lake Norman, this is Thomas Nervenia, another freshman, leading over the junior from Norfolk Christian, Jack Hanna. He's going to have to play hometown hero in these last 3 laps. As he comes from the nearest bi-major city to Virginia Beach, part of the greater metro area, of course, on the south side of the Chesapeake Bay. My, oh my, he's really dropping the hammer in the second half here. Let's see what Thomas can do. Again, in just his 9th grade year, he's trying to stay relaxed, keep his face steady. A little bit of a head bobble there, but hey, perhaps he has it in his mind that he could have his own bobblehead one day, and the first step to doing that is collecting a heat win at the VA Showcase. Love that thinking. Although that was more so my idea. Whether or not it coexists inside of Thomas's great young distance runner brain, I cannot confirm. But what I can confirm is that Thomas is definitely chasing after his PR. 5:42.81 is as quick as we've seen him run in the mile thus far as a high schooler in his young career, coming from Mooresville, North Carolina, and Lake Norman High School. Look at that clock, ladies and gentlemen, 4:42. All he's got to do for a PR is jog it home in sub 60, and that's over 200, not 400. He is starting to lap competitors on the back straightaway. If you handpicked him out of this field, you would not think that he's just a freshman, but indeed he is. Thomas Nervenia is going to be your final heat winner in the boys 1,600-meter unseeded category as he enters the final home straightaway, chasing an historic mark. Absolutely blowing his previous ghost out of the water. 5:18:38, a 26-second improvement on his personal best. 24 seconds albeit, but still monumental improvements. I'll bet you when he ran that 5:42, he probably thought to himself, gosh, how am I ever going to run sub 5? And here he is, taking a massive chunk out of his previous PR and getting himself ever closer to that first big barrier. Just a couple finishers left out on the track. This is where we're going to see some races within the race, a concept that we often like to refer to. We got 3 guys coming in left as our winner exits the oval. But Thomas Nervania, a well-earned spot in the spotlight. And a well-earned win. So where we currently stand on the schedule, we are officially less than an hour away from our invitational window here at the VA Showcase. And you know what that means. National Record Watch is soon to begin. The Boys 500, one of the events to watch today, will be taking place at 4:35 p.m. Eastern. We are currently at 3:36. Just 59 minutes away from go time for Quincy Wilson, as well as some of the top 500-meter runners in the country. Andrew Salvadon, the future South Carolina Gamecock, one that I'm looking out for. The 5th fastest in U.S. prep history, behind Quincy's U.S. number 2 all-time from a year ago. Just to give you a sense of the immense quality of talent, I should say, as I attempted to combine 2 words into one there, that we are to see in that seldom run event, the Boys 500. Again, Will Sumner from 2022 ran that incredible national record at the VA Showcase of 101.25, and he did it just as we often see him do in some of his best efforts, like we saw him do when he won the NCAA 800-meter title, kick from the last lap and just ride it home from there. We are going to take a quick pause before we return for more action. 55 prelims to come before the invitational window. Stick with us on Mile Split and FloTrack from Virginia Beach Sports Center. back to the Virginia Beach Sports Center as we prepare to resume action here from the VA Showcase Day 1 of 3. It is the boys 55-meter prelims, heats 1 through 6, getting ready to go next. We've already seen a great number of 55s take place on the infield, but these are the top 6 seeded heats that were delegated to this particular time window in order to ensure that they wouldn't be running in conflict with the 1600s. Our first of 6 heats. Again, what we saw in the unseeded heats, who are still technically eligible to make those finals, our top result on the boys' side for the 55-meter dash. That was to be a 6:51 by Andrew Davis of Ardrey Kell. So see if 8 guys from these next 6 heats can go faster than that. We've got quite a few that have already done so on the season. So that's not technically a guarantee, but a pretty safe bet, 6:51. We'll call that our current de facto bubble time, our current 8th place time for those curious as to if they were to end right now to make those 60-meter finals, would be Christopher Ham's 6:61. On track right now, here we go. In their blocks for heat 1. And away after a long hold. In lane number 3 and 5, it was close. Who ultimately came away with that win. Looked like Evan Boykin of Charlotte Christian made a late surge on the outside to get ahead of Bryce Lofton of Independence. Joshua Kai Smith, our fastest hurdles qualifier, was there in 3rd, and a dead heat goes to Boykin by thousands over Bryce Lofton. Incredibly tight in between our top 2, and as far as national rankings go, Evan Boykin, he's going to come away with his season best with that mark, tying his previous U.S. number 7 time. Now he's got a little bit of company. But a run there by Bryce Lofton, and we're only expected to heat up from here. Technically, our meet record was set here last year of 6:34 by Jake O'Day Jordan, who will be making his season debut for Archbishop Carroll in the 300 meters in just under 2.5 hours. That was a 6:34 last year. Slightly irrelevant given the fact that the 60-meter final is the grand goal to make it out of these prelims. Joshua Kai Smith had a solid time of 6:42 to take 3rd. He'll focus fully on the 60 hurdles, assuming that does not withstand. Our second heat getting into their lane assignments. It's Jamario Young of Mount Vernon, Nicholas Shortridge of Bergen Catholic. He's part of the number 2 ranked 4x2 in the US of A. Matt Fisher of Colonial Forge, Neil Harris of T.W. Andrews, one of our players to watch here. Look out for him in lane number 4. Manny Martin, Quintarius Tillman, Takeo Massey, and Michael Bradley. Boys 55, heat 2, currently still upright. Just to give a sense of why you should watch out for Janelle Harris. He's the US number 3 athlete coming in from T.W. Andrews in High Point, North Carolina. He set a school record of 6:31 at US number 3 time that we mentioned. He's also US number 2 over the 300 meters. So he's got that speed and that speed endurance. lot of space and time in between each prelim. In a bit of a pro-style format. Starters going over some final clearances. Janiel Harris, though he is part of the class of 2025, he's yet to make his official college decision. He's gotten a lot of great official visits. His most recent, according to his social media, with the University of Texas. Harris in lane number 4. Manny Martin of Clayton also came in as the number 8 athlete in the country, now number 9. He'll be in lane number 5. Uh-oh. How was that not called back? And there it is. Janiel Harris moved early in the white kit out of lane number 4, and it wasn't until halfway up the stretch that they called the heat back. Uproar from the crowd in protest. Harris, left of screen in the all-white. It's a green card. He's yellow card, in fact. So he's safe to run. But boy, oh boy, that was a close call for one of our favorites in the 55-60 meter series. Young in 1 from Mount Vernon, home of Rye Benjamin, the recently crowned Olympic champion over 400 meter hurdles. Trying to showcase his raw speed. Nick Shortridge from Bergen Catholic. Matt Fisher from Colonial Forge. Janiel Harris from Andrews. Manny Martin in the black and dark blue from Clayton. The U.S. number 9. And Quantarius Tillman, Takeo Massey, and Michael Bradley to reintroduce the field in full. Away cleanly on the second go. Martin with a good start in 5. Here comes Janiel Harris with the top end speed to cruise it for the victory. It's all about time to make those finals. How fast did Harris go? 6:25, another T.W. Andrews school record. That is the U.S. number 1 as well. Way to have a short memory. Janiel Harris nearly bounced from the prelims of the 55, was given a yellow card, given another chance, and he made the most of it. Wow, 6:25. And Manny Martin comes through with a season best as well. Just in fact, 100th off of it in 6:37. So some great displays of speed that we've got going here. And that's only expected to continue. We've got Sean McCullum as one of the big players to watch in this next team. We've already seen Nick Dow from Holly Springs in the 200 meters earlier, as well as Dre Davis and LJ Williams, those two on the center of your picture right now, getting their good old practice starts in. Richard Simpson, though, he's the 200 meter champion, recall. Ran in the 21.7s to start our day from Pickerington, North Ohio. Currently the 3rd fastest in his state over the 60 meters, as we mentioned to you before. He's their 2nd from the right, facing them head on. Look out for Sean McCullum from George Washington out of Philadelphia in the gold kit, as well as Christian Dixon, senior from Mallard Creek, who ended his sophomore 2023 campaign as the number 1 sophomore in the nation with his personal best of 6:28. That's over a 10th of a second of clearance on the rest of the field. McCollum the next closest at 6:39. Away cleanly, McCollum with a good start, and so too on the near side, Jaden Finley of Duncanville, Texas, who takes the win. And look at that, another U.S. #1, tying the mark set by Harris in the previous heat, 6:25. Jaden Finley doing a little celebration. Or is it? He looks to be in a little bit of pain as he was grasping at the mat. It looked like it was a celebration that turned into a hobble. So let's hope he's okay. That's Finley on your screen right now. It was another athlete that got injured, but Jaden Finley and Janelle Harris are going to have a showdown in the 60 tomorrow. What a powerful drive phase that was. Once he got out of his blocks, he was up on his high knees and toes. And that was all she wrote. McCollum ties his personal best in second with a 6:39 clocking, currently in position to make it on out of the top 8 time placements. So Jaden Finley riding a hot hand as we welcome on our 4th section for the boys 55. Christian Turner there for the Stallions of South County. Lane 2 looks to be vacant, so no sign of Kari Adams from Loyola Blakefield. He's a scratch. Anthony Boykin from Enloe. I do not see him in 3 either. So lanes 2 and 3 are scratches. We've got Connor Salmon of the Bullis School in 4. We saw him run well in the 200 earlier. The junior. Adani Adego Rioye from Dudley in 5. Carson Edwards of the Field School from DC is in 6. And then Canucks Shodhuri of George C. Marshall is on the outside in 7. Connor Salmon completely misanticipated the gun there. No gun was ever fired, as he might as well have done a glorified practice start there. The Bullis crowd erupted once they saw that move, as the starter trots out and gives him the red card. Connor Salmon's 55 day is done. Let's hope to see him regather as he hopes to lead off the Bulldogs sprint medley relay to a national record attempt tomorrow. The crowd now starting to applaud as the junior from Potomac, Maryland, previously a Virginian athlete in his first full season as a Bullis Bulldog, with a bit of a learning moment. Connor Salmon, I'll tell you, his practice start did look good, so turning focus for him ahead to the 200, he ought to be mighty confident about that, as well as the fact that he ran well in the morning session. Now, a heat of 4 is underway, and right out of the blocks is Adani Adego Rioye from Dudley, but catching up to him is the DC native, Carson Edwards from the Field School, who's run as quickly as 6:34 on the season, over 55 meters, just 500ths ahead of that. Off of that, in fact, 6:39 for Edwards. Adego Rioye, 300ths behind him in 6:42. So having a look at our results thus far on Blue Ridge timing, our combined group, of course, we got those 2 U.S. number ones, 642. We had a couple guys achieve that similar mark in Joshua Kai Smith as well from the first heat. So we'll see if that ultimately is good enough to make it onto the 60-meter final. Heat number 5 on the track, including the former U.S. number 1, now U.S. number 3 athlete in 4. That will be Elijah Amin-Ra from Archbishop Carroll, another D.C. native. His teammate Jaden Jones in this as well, who we saw run the 200 earlier. And this is yet another heat with a number of vacancies. I'm only seeing Antonio Reddick of Dunbar in lane 1. In lane 3, Makai Davis, his teammate. In 4, the aforementioned 628, Elijah Amin-Ra, U.S. number 3. And then 1 to his outside in 5 is Nassar Ashanafi from Mallard Creek, and then Jaden Jones of Carroll on the outside in 7. Heat number 5 is a heat of 5 to make that 60-meter final. A little bit of a head flinch, but a clean start for Amin-Ra. Already moving away from the field. Davis the closest, and Elijah Amin-Ra shuts it down, takes the win. Did he reclaim his U.S. number 1 by chance? Not quite, 6:45. And is that fast enough to make it? We'll have to see. He does not seem too thrilled about that, as he has seen the times that have come before in the previous sections. He had a great start, but again, with these 55s, you've really got to give it your all. With 5 meters less of space to work with, that's a factor that we don't really consider, but it's almost forcing our athletes to really hone in on the start, given that, let's say if you're a 100, 200 long sprinter closer, you don't have as much track space to claw back that deficit that you normally would in a distance even as minimally longer as a 60 meters. Our final section, heat 6 of 6 in the boys 55-meter prelims. It's getting its final few practice starts before it's done. Again, these were the top-seeded 55-meter prelims, and were given a designated window to run that did not conflict with any oval events. Christian Machette, John Morrison, Michael Walker, Maddox White, Leezra Brown, and Josh Johnson. And in 7, Charlie Wilson. Leezra Brown won the 60-meter hurdles at the VA Showcase last year. The future Georgia Bulldog from Dudley in 5, Maddox White from St. Christopher's on the season has gone as quickly as many can say that they have in this year. Can he get the window? Brown with the best start. Behind ease of White to the line. Yeah, the good run from Freedom on the outside as well. Josh Johnson. Take your pick. And it is confirmed, unofficially, still reviewing it, the winner of our 6th and final preliminary. The time's important as well, and it is Josh Johnson just out dipping Leezra Brown. Charlie Wilson of Menchville on the near side made a good run as well. 2:6:43 on the dot. What a great race to close us out. But the big story emerging from the 55-meter conversation were the new U.S. number 1 joint performances out of heats 2 and 3 by Janelle Harris, and then in lane number 4 out of heat number 3. It ended up being a great performance as well. In fact, I think it was Harris, and then it was Jaden Finley out of lane number 8 from Duncanville. Refreshing our memory, here is your list of qualifiers. Joshua Kai Smith, what did I say? That 6:42 is going to be a crucial juncture. Unfortunately, our photo finishers at 6:43 will not qualify, but Smith, with the 1,000th reading over Adegoruyoye of Dudley, will get it along with Carson Edwards, Sean McCollum, Manny Martin, Bryce Lofton, Evan Boykin, and then our 2 U.S. number 1s, Finley and Harris. 6:25 for the 55-meter dash. As for our next event on the track, it's one that many of you were likely waiting for. In the boys 500 meters, it is set to begin at 4:35. We will have a ceremony of our meet referees, our honorary meet referees, at 4:30, so a little bit of a pause in the action before the invitational window gets underway here at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. We're going to take a brief pause here on FloTrack and MileSplit, but we will be back with you for the invitational action on day 1 of the VA Showcase. Stick with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday, the Virginia Showcase.